Welcome to Metaburst 4. Today's topic is Ebbinghaus's forgetting curve. At the end of this Metaburst, you will explain the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve by relating retention to memory strength and elapsed time. You'll provide 2 ways to improve retention of material. So Ebbinghaus was an individual who in 1885, he did an experiment where he gave a list of what they called nonsense 3-letter words, and he asked the question, how long do you think you would remember them? How long would it take for you to remember at least half of them? He asked these questions, and he monitored a survey group. And the results of his experiment have now become a widely accepted general theory for how we learn and retain information. His results ultimately showed that over a period of 20 minutes, you will retain only about 58% of what you learned. So the key here is that a lot of your forgetting occurs within the first 20 minutes of learning that information. And as you go through more and more elapsed time, you will remember less, but it doesn't dramatically drop as much as it does in that first 20 minutes. So what does that mean? Well, if you look at this particular graph, it shows you retention after weekly review. And you can see that as information is reviewed once, over here in the red, and twice, okay, there is a dramatic difference in the number or the amount of retention that you have of the material you have learned. And so if you review and practice retrieving that information, there is an increase in retention. This information is so critical. And there's 2 ways that memory and retention can be improved. Number 1 is repetition. So regularly reviewing at regular intervals, it's going to increase your retention. So reviewing once a week, even if it's 10, 15 minutes on a topic that you learned sometime that week, reviewing it is going to be beneficial. Okay. When you review, you retrieve material. All right. And so thinking, summarizing, explaining that information to others, rewriting it, doing mind maps, these are all ways to retrieve information. And the more frequently material is retrieved from the brain, the more likely that information is to move from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. All right. And so a practical way to apply these concepts of repetition and retrieval to help you remember information is to use the cell phone method or the timer method. And what you do is you just take your cell phone or a timer and you set it for 20 minutes. And you decide in those 20 minutes what you hope to accomplish. You make it something that's measurable and realistic. So if in 20 minutes you need to complete a five problems in your set of math problems, then that should be the goal that you aim to accomplish in those 20 minutes. If you need to do a certain amount of reading, setting a goal to read a certain number of pages in those 20 minutes is what you need to do. Once you've set the goal, then focus without any distractions for those 20 minutes. That means no internet, no Facebook, no Snapchat, no Twitter, no phone calls in between, no food in between. Just focus on your material for 20 minutes. And if you can manage that self-discipline and you can do this distributed practice and you can do this repeatedly in 20-minute bursts, you are going to be more efficient and effective in remembering, retaining information. So let's think about 2 ways that you will utilize this information. What are you going to do now that you know about the forgetting curve and you know some practical strategies to help you retain information, which include repetition and retrieval? Take a minute to think about it and then jot it down and share with your classmates. Thank you.